Hello, everyone, and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of New York City straight to you. I am Darren Hyman. We'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough, as well as across New York. Coming up, we'll learn how the Food Bank for New York is helping the community with their taxes. Then, we'll talk about a short film that's tackling the stereotypes surrounding Black and Brown youth. And we'll sit with one designer, learning how she is helping others aspire to live a luxurious lifestyle. And then finally, we'll talk about how people are using DoorDash as a means to supplement their income during this period of economic uncertainty. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. And hello, everyone, and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I am Darren Hyme, and we want to thank you for joining us. We also want to welcome our viewers on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast live simultaneously on the MNN channel. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV, and also our website, bronxnet.org. Well, some things have been going on through the course of the past week. We'll take you through a couple of them with our Bronx updates. Well, we start off with community news. We've got Montefiore Medical Center, who celebrated the success of parents who've worked to continue their parental and also their spousal relationships. Our BronxNet reporter, Brittany Schuyler Albane, has the details.
Montefiore Medical Center celebrated the success of parents who have worked to improve their spousal relationships and parental relationships through their programs, Hero Dads, and Supporting Healthy Relationships.
Today is our first annual Appreciate and Celebrate event for two of our family strengthening programs that are run out of Montefiore's Department of Psychiatry.
Their Supporting Healthy Relationships, or SHR program, is geared toward low-income couples who look to strengthen their family bond through communication, financial stability, and conflict navigation. The program addresses crucial life questions like, do you and your partner need support navigating the struggles of parenthood? And do you need a way to achieve financial stability for your family's future? The Santiago family, who participated in SHR, recommends the program to any couple who may need it and shared some of the concepts they learned.
I'd say that it has definitely helped our communication, especially coming back from an argument. We have kind of like a toolbox, to choose from.
Montefiore's Hero Dads program, or Healthy, Empowered, Resilient, Open, focuses on supporting non-custodial fathers to achieve family and financial success. The participants of the Hero Dads program learn how to navigate co-parenting, strengthening parental bonds, and assisting them to be the best parent possible.
The program has been a positive one all around because the program has taught me many different things in terms of employment, in terms of parenting styles, in terms of coping mechanism, in terms of ways on dealing with my partner, and it's also provided a supportive brotherhood.
Although the Hero Dads program is fairly new, Montefiore is proud of the successful outcomes from their Supporting Healthy Relationships program.
Between 2015 and 2020, we just completed a local evaluation where we saw that couples who completed our program actually showed improvements in their relationship satisfaction, increases in their emotional intelligence.
For more information and to get enrolled in the mentioned programs, follow the links below. Reporting from BronxNet, Brittany Schuyler Albane.
And thank you, Brittany. In other news, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will hold a town hall for all of her constituents in the 14th Congressional District. Our BronxNet reporter Chanel Thompson brings us the story.
We're here at 177 Dreiser Loop for AOC's town hall meeting where the community is voicing their opinions on issues that need to be addressed. It was a packed house as Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got to hear from the new constituents in the first Co-op City town hall meeting. She got to meet the full range of supporters who cheered and clapped for her when she was first introduced. However, it was stopped abruptly by 10 people who sang and held signs asking to stop sending weapons to Ukraine and to avoid war with Russia and China about a minute after she started talking. With dispensaries now open to the public right here in New York City, I asked Congresswoman AOC about inmates who are locked up for possession of marijuana and are steps being taken to release them.
One of the things that I'm actually very excited about is that towards the end of last year, I actually lead bipartisan legislation with Republican buy-in with Congressman Dave Joyce on really helping to fund state and city level expungements because you're absolutely right. There are people that it's not just about whether they're currently incarcerated, but even having things on their record from the past that prevent people from access to employment, housing, financial opportunities, loans. That slate needs to be wiped clean. And the way that we wipe that slate clean is by addressing the state and city level records where a lot of that small possession charges are really showing up. So I'm very hopeful that since we were able to get some bipartisan support on that we might actually be able to get movement on it despite a Republican majority.
One local resident wanted to talk about the street parking violations done by commercial vehicles and how it's affecting residents who live in that area.
This parking been taken by commercial vehicle, like construction, and I seen mothers coming with stroller and kids parking 3 blocks away from their houses because these guys are taking all the parking spot and no one is doing anything. Those parking spots, they are illegal. They need to pay for their own parking spot and not taking the parking spot from the people who live in the community.
So what about us New Yorkers and how can we feel more safe? One local resident wanted to express his issues on public safety.
We can make people feel safe. We can also see why people end up choosing certain routes in life and how we can kind of avoid those routes and see where we can have a solution that works for all. So I know public safety is a very big issue. I was born in the South Bronx. I know a thing or two about tough streets, but it's going to be something that's going to be spoken about more. But not only do we have to speak about it more, we have to find sensible solutions that work for all people, meeting them where they're at, and also ensuring that our streets are safe for people to go out and do all their things, and for 22-year-old folks like me to party a little bit.
Ocasio-Cortez's office said that they want to hold town hall meetings about once a month, usually alternating between Queens and the Bronx. Information on those future meetings can be found on her social media accounts. Reporting for BronxNet, Chanel Thompson.
And thank you, Chanel. That is all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We encourage you to stay connected to us. Open continues right after this.
You can now watch MNN, Brick TV, QPTV, and SIC TV on BronxNet. Tune in to BX Omni, Channel 67 Optimum, 2133 Fios during most Sunday evenings. We'll show you some amazing content from our friends at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, Brick TV in Brooklyn, Queens Public Television, and Staten Island Community Television. Every borough represented in the Boogie Down. Epic partnerships for the ages. And catch our new Next channel, produced in partnership with MNN, 24/7 on BronxNet Channel 952 Optimum and 2138 Fios.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, baby? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
To the left. To the right. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug. You know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for ya. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
Most hiring algorithms would scream me out.
Some bosses couldn't see me as a leader.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
I've been running code as long as I've been able to reach a keyboard.
This is what I do. It's second nature for me, coordinating 100 details at once.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
I sold them on my skills.
You gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
My magic is
Analytics and empathy. That's how I'm getting clients. You have to have the confidence in yourself to show up and defy the odds.
I'm
more than who I am on paper.
I never got a college degree. And today, I'm the CEO of my own company. People want to tell me I'm one in a million, when actually I'm one of millions. Stars are all around us. It's time for them to shine.
And welcome back to the show. When one thinks of food banks, certain things do come to mind. But for over 20 years, Food Bank for New York City's free citywide tax assistance program has saved tax filers over $200 million in tax preparation fees and put more than $1.2 billion to date back into the pockets of hardworking New Yorkers and the city's economy. We've got sharing with us now more details. We've got the Senior Vice President of Programs at Food Bank for New York City, Zach Hall. And Zach, good to see you back, my brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having us as always. Appreciate it.
Well, listen, as always, we're always talking food because really, when it comes to New York, there is this huge food insecurity. Before we get into talk about taxes, let's talk about where we are right now. We're just coming off the holidays, and I know for you and for so many, food insecurity, very huge, very big, right in New York City. And talk to me about how things worked out across the holidays.
Well, certainly, Food Bank works with 800 plus community-based pantries, soup kitchens, and other partners to make sure that folks have enough to eat. The holidays are no different time, and so we see a lot of demand for folks to make sure they have the fixings for Thanksgiving, holiday, Christmas, Jewish holidays around December, and throughout the new year. And we've seen significant increase in demand. Inflation is still driving food prices and groceries up. And that's a continual plateau of increased expenses that folks have to contend with, in addition to high cost of living in New York City in general. So we're seeing, families who are struggling really having a sustained burden and making ends meet, not just with food, but other basic necessities as well.
Yeah. And I know that, we talk about the work that goes on with Food Bank in terms of seeing and making sure that food insecurity across New York City is being dealt with, and making sure that so many people have the right to have that basic, which is food. But also, as I talked about in the lead-in, you've been doing this for a minute now, not just helping with food, but really the tax component. Talk to us about why Food Bank feels it's so important, not just to deal with the food component, but also to help out with the tax component.
Absolutely. Well, the symptom of not having enough food is likely due to lack of resources in the household. And so we know that to be able to shore up and support the full family is not just about the meal for today, it's also about resources for tomorrow. And so we've been doing, in addition to our large scale tax services, we offer SNAP benefit engagement and making sure that folks can apply and access resources for which they're eligible. And tax refunds oftentimes are the single largest paycheck that households would receive throughout the year. Our average adjusted gross income for households for tax filers that we see is around $20,000 to $22,000 a year. So these are folks who are not making a lot of money and living in New York City where the cost is high. So being able to put 2, 3, 4, 5,000 in some cases with families with children who are qualified for the earned income tax credit or child tax credit could receive a refund in excess of $10,000. And those are pretty monumental amounts of money for folks to pay rent, keep the heat and the lights on, stay clothed, stay fed, pay down debt, and of course save for emergencies when the going gets tough. So that's really why we enlisted a tax program and have been doing this for 20 years.
So now, how do people take advantage of it, and what do they do to benefit?
Absolutely. So anybody who earned $60,000 or less in 2022 calendar year is eligible for the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Services. That's an IRS-sponsored program, and that's the program we've been running for 20 years to provide free tax assistance. Folks can go on our website, foodbanknyc.org/VITA, and find some additional help around, that's actually foodbanknyc.org/tax help. That's the website where folks can learn about a free in-person tax site in their borough. We also have dozens and dozens of drop-off locations across the city where folks can drop off their tax documents, get it verified by one of our partner locations, get that information scanned securely into our system, and have it prepared for free by trained volunteers and staff. And we have a number of locations in partnership with our food pantry members and other locations where folks can come in and get one-on-one services for free. And we partner with a lot of different organizations across the state to do self-prep assisted tax preparation, where clients can come in and be assisted by an expert tax coach at libraries across the city, and really great opportunity to learn skills and build a lifelong ability to file your own taxes.
I think we talked about this just a few seconds ago, but really, when you think about that, it being possibly the single largest check that a person gets all year long, and to have that opportunity to really come by Food Bank, it's a game changer in many ways. Talk to me a little bit about the fact of you've got some IRS certified volunteers that when people are coming through, these aren't just people who don't know, these are real certified people that can really help you with your taxes.
Absolutely. So one of the things we pride ourselves on is being extremely diligent about providing high quality tax services. For many parts of the city, they're underserved by financial services, but oftentimes these are the families and households that need it the most. So we every year we scale up with dozens of seasonal staff that we bring on, and highly trained and competent in tax law, and as well as hundreds of volunteers in which we also bring on folks who are in the position to help and donate their time for free to really provide that high quality service to households who can get their taxes done for free, saving $400 or $500 and sometimes $1,000 plus in retail preparation fees. So if you make $60,000 or less, don't pay to get your taxes done. Come to a VITA provider like Food Bank.
Yeah. And so for you, the work continues. What's the deadline for people in terms of getting in and getting to see you guys? How long do they have before this opportunity runs out?
Well, tax season kicked off January 30th, and we're moving quickly, serving thousands of folks a week, and we'll be in operation through April 18th. So make your appointment today.
And we want to make sure people do get out there and make that appointment because those slots do fill up quick, Zach. I think people will need to take full exam because this is not something where, well, maybe no, there are a lot of people out there who've actually, you got 20 years in the bank and doing this right here, right? And I think every year now, more and more people have become more acclimated to coming and using Food Bank as a certified tax preparer.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on folks coming back to us year over year. So we're providing a high quality service in need. And again, being successful in saving folks money and getting taxes done in 5 to 10 business days, which is on par with many drop-off services.
Yeah. Well, Zach, I want to thank you for being with us, man. I know it's that busy time of year. Hopefully after the tax season, we're able to get you back and talk a little bit more about as we get ready for spring, summer, what you guys are up to. But in the meantime, making sure that our people in the city are taking advantage of all of these food banks and the work that's going on with the tax preparers. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you. Anytime, let us know. Happy to spotlight this work. Appreciate it.
All right. Zach Hall, Senior Vice President of Programs for Food Bank for New York City. For more information, visit their website at foodbanknyc.org/tax help if you need help in this particular area. And you can also follow them on, I should say, all social media at Food Bank for NYC. Going to take a quick break. We do have more open. Don't go anywhere. Coming up right after this.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, love you always.
Everything I do
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Most hiring algorithms would scream me out.
Some bosses couldn't see me as a leader.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
I've been running code as long as I've been able to reach a keyboard.
This is what I do. It's second nature for me, coordinating 100 details at once.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
I sold them on my skills.
You gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
My magic is
Analytics and empathy. That's how I get clients. You have to have the confidence in yourself to show up and defy the odds.
I'm more than who I am on paper.
I never got a college degree. And today, I'm the CEO of my own company. People want to tell me I'm one in a million, when actually I'm one of millions. Stars are all around us. It's time for them to shine.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Hey, boss. Okay.
Said I'm fine.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really hard for me.
And welcome back to the show. Side Projects is a collaborative production company dedicated to telling powerful stories. One of their recent short films, School, is reflecting on a vibrant past and then also looking forward to a hopeful future where kids are back to where they deserve to be. And we've got with us here on the show, co-founder of Side Projects, Anthony Hall, and Demetrius Beckham. And gentlemen, good to have you here sharing with us here on Open.
Hey, thank you for having us. It's nice to be with you, man.
Hey, glad to have you. Glad to be able to have this conversation. And so, for those who don't know, listen, you have this production company, and you wanted to be a production company with a purpose. So, talk to us a little bit about the purpose behind Side Projects.
Yeah, definitely. I can jump in here. Thanks again for having us. So, for me and for Ant, I was pretty much fresh out of film school when we first started Side Projects, going to school in New York, living and working. Ant was doing his thing in production and film, commercial stuff. And we just recognized how the industry wasn't really built for us in the way that we weren't allowed to tell certain stories that we grew up knowing so very well, because there was other boxes that we were, forced to fit into. So in that way, Side Projects is meant to be an outlet for us to tell the stories that we know incredibly well, stories in New York, stories of people who look like us.
And so, Anthony, for yourself, obviously, the opportunity to put projects together that could actually be a difference maker and also a game changer. So we're talking about one of your latest projects and talking about School.
Yeah. School was basically, I had been documenting this school in the Bronx for some years through photography. And one thing I noticed, and one thing Dee and I always talked about, is there's such like reductive stereotypes put on young Black and brown kids. And like, honestly, we know this, they can be harmful and very dangerous. And being in that school, you see kids as they are. So we had so much access to be able to show kids just as they are, kids. And I think we really just tried to take a step back in that filming and just be there and watch. And so when people see that film, you can just you're just an audience member in somebody's existence in their life. And there are no, and also we're seeing it from a lens of also being, Black men. So we wanted to really show that. And I think it's like such an incredible look, because without saying much, it says a lot,
Yeah. And also, Demetrius, when you talk about saying a lot, you have the opportunity to actually say a lot through your own lens. Whereas many times we have the picture dictated and told to us, you have the opportunity now to tell the story and have people understand and see from a totally different perspective. What is the hope that you have for people who are watching School and the work of Side Projects?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say in general, the idea of, this idea that pictures tell 1,000 words, right? I feel like there's so much more information that we can convey through just the frames of the films that we put out. And so in that way, I would love for people to just have new, fresh, innovative ways of thinking and receiving people, the perceptions of us, of people that look like us, people who might not look like us, right? I think there's so much more for us to learn about each other if we just remove any sort of preconceived notions and just look at the film, look at the pictures, look at the information and hear for ourselves.
Yeah. And so, Anthony, talk to me about how people can go about watching School and where people can check it out.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, you can we have it on our site. Simply, it's there. We want to make it easy, accessible. That's what that film is for, everybody to see. So it's on sideprojects.film, www.sideprojects.film, and that's where you can see everything that we put out, and School's up there. And I would love for people to go check that out.
There's so many times we talk about stereotypes, and I always, sometimes I would hate to even have to bring it up, but there are these continuous stereotypes that always affect those who are in Black and Brown communities. But as storytellers and people who have the ability to tell the story and convey a message, give me a little bit about that in you, because you do want to be able to tell a different narrative.
Go ahead, D.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it comes from this sort of childlike desire to just see the world and have others see the world for what it is, which is really just this beautiful, wonderful thing. So in that way, storytelling is simply a vehicle for us to get out these ideas, get out these sort of thought processes, get out these visions for our future, for our present, and just really just live a more beautiful, magical life. So hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah. And you want to answer on that?
Yeah, I just think also it's important for us. We want to show our people in the most robust way, because I think for a long time, the narratives that are being put on our stories, they're just not, they're not wide enough. And we know, living those experiences, there's so much more. So that's like deeply important to us, that you see all the spectrums of our stories. And that's what we want to continue to do. That's what we will continue to do.
Yeah. So for people who want to really jump in, support the work, what's the best way they can support side projects and the things that you got going on?
Yeah, we're accessible. One, we have our Instagram, of course, sideprojects.film. They can definitely hit us there. Also, we, have a contact on our website, and we answer all the emails. We really get back to people, because if people, that's one big part of side projects. It's about people, and it's about community, and it's about connecting, because we can't do this work without connecting with other people. So they can always reach us on our Instagram and on our website. Hit us on an email, a DM. We're there, we're accessible, and we love collaborating. We just love meeting and talking to people.
To have the ability to tell your own story is very powerful, very unique. And sometimes it doesn't come easy. Can you share with us just the battle for yourselves and the process to get to where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, filmmaking is quite an expensive sport, if you will. It's quite an expensive operation. It involves, at minimum 15, 20 people at times to, over a 3-day span, and thousands of dollars to be spent. The beautiful thing about school is that because of ANT's access to the charter school network that we work with, Democracy Prep, we were able to bypass a lot of those upfront costs to be able to tell this story that people have really been able to take in. But all that to be said, for stories to come, that is like one of the primary challenges, is how do we do it? Granted, we have this beautiful network of people, filmmakers, cinematographers, editors, sound designers, and so we rely on them quite heavily. But at the end of the day, it's a battle, and it's a challenge. But we're committed.
Well, certainly, I want to thank you guys both for coming and sharing with us. Side Projects in School is out there and available. I want to let people know that if you want more information, visit them on sideprojects.film, and then also follow them on Instagram at sideprojects.film. And gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having y'all. And thanks so much for being with us here on Open.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you too, man. Appreciate you too. We encourage our viewers, listen, don't go anywhere. We got more Open coming up right after this.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
It's time.
Oh,
turn it back on.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
I'll see y'all.
After a basketball game, a black teenage boy, Brandon, reads his texts in his family group chat. Auntie Flo, congrats on the big win. Mom, that's my baby. Brandon replies, thanks y'all. In a park, his sister Maya texts, where are we celebrating? Dad replies, home. Mom texts, I got dinner going. Auntie Flo replies, ooh, I can't wait. Then receives a FEMA flood watch text alert. She texts the family, anyone see that weather alert? We need a plan to stay safe, especially after last year. Ready has a list of resources at ready.gov/plan. In his workshop, Dad sends a photo of emergency supplies and texts, looks like we need flashlights and batteries. Leaving a store with a shopping bag, Brandon replies, I got us covered. Mom texts, I'll check in with Grandma and Papa. Maya texts, thanks Auntie, feeling good about this plan.
I got some batteries and 2 flashlights.
What's up, champ? Feel like you get taller every time I see you. Congratulations, Brandon.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, love you always.
Everything I do,
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
And welcome back to the show. O Collection is a brand that's created for the modern day girl boss. Our next guest is a multifaceted woman whose lives, or I should say lives or aspires to live a luxurious lifestyle. And joining us to share now more details is the founder of the O Collection. And we've got Oni Higgins. And Oni, glad to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be on.
Excited to have you sharing too. And tell us a little bit about the O Collection, because we've got a luxurious lifestyle and a way to live.
Yeah, so the brand was founded back in 2021. It was right during the pandemic. I always knew that I wanted to do fashion or something related in that field. I just couldn't pinpoint what it was. And then a light just went off and it was like, duh, shoes. You always wear heels. You always have on heels since high school, a young woman. And it was just something that I wanted women to feel good with and feel like they can live luxury and embody luxury, especially Black women, and not have to break the bank for it. You don't have to pay $1,000 for a pair of shoes. You don't have to pay $500 for a pair of shoes. You can have luxury and it be affordable to your lifestyle that you might have. So, that's what the girl boss is, the modern day girl bosses. We're working, we're multifaceted. We have so much going on. And I just want shoes that represent that for other women.
You talked about starting this during the pandemic. What was it that really said, hey, you know what? I got to do this? Because was it the fact that we were indoors and I got to make ends meet? Or was it that I really want to do something connected to my heart?
It was always, I wanted to do something connected to my art. The issue was I was just trying to figure out and explore like different options of what it was. I always knew I wanted to do something fashion related, whether it was a clothing boutique, accessories, I've always known it. I think what the pandemic helped with, it was more so of me being able to do the research, the market research, look at my competitors, come up with a business plan. I really had time to dedicate and pour into the business side of it. So I think that that's what motivated the actual launch. Like it launched way quicker than I expected just because we were home doing nothing all day and I had the time to.
Yeah. And so being a Black brand designer, what's that like for you now? I mean, obviously you got product out there, you got things going for you, but what's it like for you to be a product designer, and particularly an African-American woman?
Yeah, you know, I was just talking to a friend about this because a lot of times you see Black designer, well, you don't see many of us in the fashion industry, that's one, right? But then when you do see us, a lot of time our brand fails or it has a high peak and then it runs off. And it's just about a lot of education. Like there's a lack of education, financial resources, things like that within the Black community. I will say, I feel like COVID has helped a bit in that way to get these resources within our community. However, just in general, I do feel as if there's a lack of them. Like I don't see many other Black shoe designers, or we don't have a huge community where I can reach out to multiple designers if I wanted like a mentor or just a business partner, you know, to run ideas off of and see how other people operate. So that's one thing that I hope that I can be a trailblazer in, or possibly connect the shoe designers that I do know who are women of color together, all get together and do something amazing for other people who might be aspiring to do the same things that we're doing.
And you talk about aspiring, I want to talk about inspiration. Where's the inspiration for your work come from? I mean, obviously, you put out some great things, but what inspires you, and what takes you, what says, hey, I'm make a product like this, that, third. Where's your inspiration come from?
Sometimes, so what I'll do is typically I'll test it out. So I'll see like what's trending at the moment. So taking in what's trending and then also trying to do other funky things, like something that I haven't seen before, because you can go and get a regular Black shoe from Steve Madden or Aldo or something. I want something that's going to make you stand out a little bit, or you walking into the office and everyone's like, yeah, I gotta get those shoes. I love your shoes. Or you're out on the town with your girlfriends at dinner and everyone's complimenting you or asking you about your shoes. So inspiration for me is whatever works, whatever come to mind. I'll start with a sketch. I'll have someone draw up a sketch and put all these ideas together. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 sketches because I just have different ideas. And then it's beautiful just watching everything come into fruition and watching something that started out as on pen and paper come to real life and being worn on the foot to people.
And so for people who want to find out more about your product, see your product, where do they go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our website, www.ocollectionshoes.com, very simple. And our Instagram is also o.collectionshoes.
So for yourself, what is the hardest part about the work that you do? Because you have to stay in line with trends. And then at the same time, you want to be unique in what you do. And you just admitted there's not a whole lot of Black creatives that you can really model after and people that you can kind of like get the mentorship from. So what becomes the hardest part of putting this all together?
Time. Time is a resource, right? And for many of us, I'm sure many of us, we start out as this being a passion or a hobby, but you also remember that we have full-time careers and things like that. So finding the time to and making sure that you're doing things like we are today, or you're networking, or you're finding time to post in a busy day. So I think that would be the most difficult. I wish I had more hours in a day to really dedicate and do everything that I need to do. I would say that that's definitely most difficult, but as things are evolving, as business begins to grow, that you can leverage other entities. You can have someone posting for you. You can have a social media coordinator. You know what I mean? You can have automated email marketing, things like that.
So what's next? I mean, you got all this on the plate. What's next?
We're hoping to launch something very big next year. We hosted our first sip and shop in Brooklyn in June last year, and we're really looking forward to hoping to have another event of some sort, but definitely a new collection coming out in March 2024. So super excited for that. The campaign, the vision behind it, everything. I know everyone's going to love those, as well as our typical fall 23 season with the boots.
Well, I want to wish you much success. Thank you for being with us and sharing, and great to have you with us on it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All righty. Well, I want to let you know if you want to pick up the collection, find out more about it, well, visit their website, ocollectionshoes.com, and then social media at o.collectionshoes. We encourage you, don't go anywhere. We've got more open right after this.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink, or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking, now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed, better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead, catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Fostering a pet for a friend or neighbor can keep families together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You didn't turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug, you know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for ya. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
And welcome back to the show. A recent survey showed that more than 44% of DoorDashers almost found having to have a full-time job as a separate, well, I should say a separate full-time job that they work for at least 30 hours a week. Now, recently, more people are turning to secondary sources of income to help to make ends meet and then improve their quality of life, especially as pay in some sections of life just don't keep up with inflation and uncertain economic conditions that persist to continue. Well, we've got a very special guest with us today sharing more information. We got a social media manager and then also a DoorDasher herself, Dwanay Perry. And Dwanay, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to go in because as I talked at the beginning, here you are, this social media manager, and you got your social media career. But then at the same time, also, you have to manage it by DoorDashing, right? And for you, it's got to be a healthy balance. But a little bit about yourself and, your work in social media.
So my work in social media is pretty much Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I can work hybrid, so I can either be at home or I can be at the salon. It's a salon that I am a social media manager for. The salon's name is Stylebox Salon, and I work both there and here at home. But I am also a mom of a 2-year-old boy named Kevin. So when I get home, sometimes I go door dashing, and a lot of the times my son is with me while door dashing. So it just helps me to manage both and balance both. Like I'm able to do both 2 different times.
For yourself, what's it like? Because I think, you fall in the category of most Americans, right? We just don't have one job. Before it used to be, you could make one job, have one career, make ends meet. Now, in order to do what you have to do, you got to have the full-time job and then you got to have a side job as well.
Yeah. I actually do a couple of other gigs, but DoorDash is my main side gig. I make the most money from DoorDash. Throughout the week, I do about 3 hours a day. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I make the most money. Saturdays and Sundays, I go out for 8 hours for both days. So that's like a real life full-time job as well. It's just really a second job for me.
Listen, when you talk about a full-time job, that is a full-time job. But then you also mentioned you take your child sometimes with you when you're out there door dashing.
Yeah, that's the best part about it, because obviously some gigs you can't take your kid with you. Obviously, all full-time jobs you can't take your kid with you, but DoorDash you can. And I make a lot of money with DoorDash. I actually just use it as a second income, period. Like it's no other way around it. It's really a second income for me.
Does it feel good to be able to say, listen, you know what? I got this over here, but then I got my DoorDash that I know I can make this money on to really get across the field, if you will?
Yes. So my full-time job pay is more for like my big bills, like, rent, car insurance, car note. And then my DoorDash is for gas, pull-ups, maybe a couple of clothes.
Listen, I think there's a lot of people who can say they do the same exact thing. But for yourself, the balance, how do you work about finding a balance? Because one of the things that can get lost in that is really working a lot of hours. And when you work a lot of hours, some other parts of your life actually do suffer.
So you kind of have to like have a routine. You have to have a routine, and then you have to balance. It's really about making sure, my son gets his time. I'm a mom, so I have to make sure he gets his time. I have to make sure I make extra money, and it's really a balance. You really have to make sure you have a routine. And the best thing about DoorDash is that I'm able to be flexible. I'm able to stop and go whenever I feel like it. So I can do maybe like 2 or 3 orders a day and then be like, all right, I'm going to go home and hang out with my kid. Or I can say, okay, today is a money-making day. We're going out. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm. And for yourself, I mean, we were talking on the show a little bit about inflation, the rising costs, how much it costs to even, buy eggs today, right? What's it been like for you navigating this inflation, and how's it impacted your life?
Everything is so expensive. So the other day I ended up buying like a bunch of fruits, and I spent like $47 on just like 8 items. I was like, what is going on? But I think just just having a second income, maybe even a third income. You have to these days. Like you really have to have like 3, 4, 5 hustles just to survive. It's hard. It's really hard, especially in New York.
New York is rough. People talk about New York, California, the big cities, the major cities, where a lot of times it really does require you to be able to have to do multiple jobs just in order to survive. Does it ever bother you to say, I gotta do all this just to do what I do? It should be a little bit easier than this.
Definitely. I am 26 years old. I am a mom of a 2-year-old. I am a single mom. So it is very hard for me. It's almost like impossible. And I'm just like, I shouldn't be like this at 26. Like, why is it so hard for me to survive, like off of regular, living? It's just you kind of have to keep going. Maybe it's the New York hustle in me.
Yeah. And so dashing is a game that everybody's playing. So people are doing a lot of door dashing. DoorDash seems to see a lot more people coming on and taking it on as an additional career for yourself. What's it mean to be able to have DoorDash as that secondary income?
I love it. I love DoorDash because it has helped me in the most hardest times of my life. Like 2 times before I have gotten laid off from my jobs. Once because of COVID, another time because the company was just going broke and they didn't have it to, pay us. So honestly, I think just door dashing as a second income has helped me entirely in my life. I think everyone should have a second income. Everyone should be able to sign up and just get their money any way they know how. The best part about DoorDash for me is just being able to get my money right now. Like if I finish an order, I can get my money as soon as possible. It comes on a little card, and that's the best part about it for me. Being able to take my kid with me is also a really good opportunity for me. It just really has helped me throughout like the whole pandemic. Ever since I started, it really has helped me out.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us. On a certain sense, there's this sense that I have of just saying thank you for the work that you're doing, because you're really trying to make it work for yourself and your family. On the other side, I feel like, man, you're absolutely right. At 26, you really shouldn't have to be doing it this hard and going this hard to be able to survive, not in America, when we got all these resources out. So, but thank you so much, and continue to hold it down. And we'll be looking for you on social media. If not, they have to call you and DoorDash over here at the station for us, so they can bring something over for us. Good to see you.
I definitely will. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. Listen, now for more information, follow her on her Instagram at Dwanay. And then we also want to tell you that you can stay connected and find out more about all the things that she has going on. Well, I want to let you know we come to the end of our show today. We want to thank all of our guests for joining us, and most of all, you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the Recablecast on Bronx's Channel 67. If you have Verizon Files, that'll be Channel 2133, or anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. Now, if you also want a brand new episode of Open, we encourage you to come back on Friday. My girl, Rena Valentine, will bring you the best of arts and entertainment. Until then, I'm Darren Hyman saying, listen, thank you for watching this show here on Open, and we'll see you soon. Take care, and keep this channel wide open. We'll see you soon. God bless.